Hi, Amy.
Howdy.
Last night was Before the 90 Days, Season 7, Episode 23, The Tell-All, Part 4.
Dun, 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 dun. That's me putting this to bed.
That's the death march, right? Yeah. This is the end of Season 7. We are putting it into the coffin, laying it to rest, burying it deep in the ground. So if you're ready, let's raise a glass of whatever it is that you have, be it wine, be it tea, maple syrup. Let's toast the final episode of this season. Cheers,
Sure.
everyone. And now let's begin. But first, you know the drill. 1, rate and follow us on the platform that you choose to listen to. Thank you. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé Honestly. Merci. And 3, our subscriber-only content in which we're discussing Season 2 of The Last Resort, as well as Between the Sheets, is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts only. Okay, let's begin. Ready? Loren and Faith. Up first, we're continuing on with the no that Faith just delivered to Loren. And he's okay with that. Okay, good. So we're done. Let's go home.
Yeah, but then we spend another 20 minutes talking about it.
Of course we do. Just let Faith go. Let her live her best life with someone who actually deserves her. But no. What did you want to say about this?
Joey pipes up and he says that, she can go and be happy and find a normal boyfriend. And Loren responds with, if that's what she wants, why wouldn't she want a normal boyfriend? And as if your character is something to be desired.
No.
It is not. No.
Oh, he's so fake. When he took the break, he and Vanya went off together to have lunch. He does the old fake cry thing. He's squeezing out these tears so very, very hard. Did you see that with him just crushing his eyes together, trying to get the tears to fall? So natural, so authentic. Way to go, Loren. Vanya says that she thinks that he's going to try to better himself after this breakup. Don't hold your breath, Vanya. I think you're being a little bit too optimistic, but that's all I had to say about them.
Well, he made that comment that he's devoted to helping her in any way that she'll allow him to. And I just wanted to scream at the screen. Helping her would be you leaving her the F alone.
Absolutely.
Just stop. But going back to his fake crocodile tears, did you notice that he was still eating at the same time?
Yeah. Because it's so real.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to eat while bawling? That's not a thing.
No, I don't think it is.
And how can you be hungry if you're that upset? No.
And the way that he just flipped on a dime. When he was done with his crying phase, he was all back to the smiles and nothing was wrong. Totally fake. Okay, great. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Brian and Ingrid. Yay. So are we surprised at all when we learned that Brian went hunting for a new Brazilian victim as soon as Ingrid walked away from him? Literally, he went on a date that same night, hours after they'd broken.
It didn't surprise me because he's made comments in the past about how as soon as he would land in Brazil, he would find someone and he would get laid that night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's par for the course with him that, he can't be rejected at all.
No. Who could resist?
Yeah. So now he's just going to go and find someone else.
I guess he really didn't need that much time to get over his broken heart. His devastation must have been terrible for it to take all of a few hours for him to move on. Totally amazing and completely normal for a 2-year relationship to dissolve in an afternoon and to be on a date with somebody new that same night. Totally normal. I'm sure we've all done that many, many times.
No.
Why not? Why not? And then he says, which is the best thing of all, that what he felt on that date with this random person that he just met surpassed all of what he felt with Ingrid over the last 2 weeks of them being together in Brazil.
Or whatever it was.
Or whatever. Yeah. How can he so callously dismiss his relationship with Ingrid, which has been going on for years? He's trying to say that what he invested in Ingrid and what she invested in him is less than what he and this random woman invested in each other on their first date, which is
Probably because he got laid and that's his emotional investment.
yeah. I twigged to that. The fact that he said, yes, of course, we slept together. They'd only spent a couple of days together, but that was enough time. Okay.
And he never lied to her about anything.
No.
She knew about everything. And
Yes.
he, I think while he was on his date, when we got that little snippet, he said that he's proud of his age. And yet he got he got caught in a lie with Ingrid about lying about his age.
That was so rich, wasn't it? He's just proudly saying, I'm 51, and having hidden it from Ingrid for so long. Come on now, Brian. How dumb do you think we are? Do you think we haven't watched this entire season and seen all of your lies and all of your deceit?
He continues to double, quadruple, quintuple down on all of these lies that he's told, and he just makes himself look so much more horrific.
He does. And that's the sad part about it, that he doesn't realize how bad he's making himself look by pretending to be flippant and glib. Like, I get over it so fast. Didn't mean anything anyway. Well, then why were you trying so goddamn hard in the 2 weeks that you spent with Ingrid? Why were you crying when she was leaving you that afternoon? Why were all the tears flowing? Not that I believe them. All of this has just been a performance. None of it is genuine feeling. And we get further insight into that because then he announces that, in fact, he's with somebody new, a Colombian woman.
And then he brings out that gaudy, hideous necklace. What is that supposed to mean, man?
What are you talking about? It's beautiful. It's so subtle. It's so small and just very elegant, tactful. Yes. It's a lovely piece of jewelry. Oh my God, that was so funny when he brings it out of his shirt because it's been hiding under his clothing this whole time. And it's the most enormous letter N that you've ever seen.
I do believe that it doesn't stand for her name, but it stands for Neanderthal.
Well, her name is Nathy. Sean asks Ingrid to offer advice to Nathy on her relationship with Brian. And I'm like, why would you ask this? Ingrid clearly doesn't want to have anything to do with Brian or the situation at all anymore. How uncomfortable is this? And why would we as an audience even want to know? Like, she's just deliberately trying to stir shit up by asking Ingrid what advice she would give, hoping that she's going to say something about how awful Brian was and this is what you should look out for because he really is like this,
which would set Brian up to try to throw her under the bus even more than he already has. But she is poised, she is elegant, she is calm, she's diplomatic. I think she handled herself very beautifully.
She's very restrained. And we learned that Nathy got in trouble with Brian over some photographs of her that she posted on her social media. And I was thinking, oh no, here comes another Adnan, another controlling person. She's getting so much out of her relationship with Brian already, isn't she? I mean, this is so great because Sean asks her, how are things going? What do you think of Brian? And Nathy says, oh, Brian is nice. That's the word she uses. Nice.
To be fair, her English didn't seem to be very strong.
No, but you could maybe think of something to say like, oh, he's hot, he's sexy, he's intelligent, he's funny.
A gentleman, but he's none of the above.
He's nice. And then she follows that up with, but we fight a lot. A lot. And when she's asked why do you fight a lot? The answer is because he lies. Imagine that. I would not have thought Brian capable of being such a man.
And then Sean asks him, have you lied to Nathy? And he's, oh no. I mean, maybe one or two slipped out, but
how flippant. Just what? It's a total slippery fish.
Yes.
You can see him. He's trying to worm out of it, and somebody's trying to hold on, say, no. The question is, have you lied? And he's like, well, dodging, slippery, trying to get out of it. And then he finally, after much pressure, settles on, No, I have lied to
Maybe.
her. Yeah. But he also blames her. He blames her by saying, oh, well, she's a very jealous person, which is why he has to do things like call her out for her social media and all of the clothing that he doesn't like that she wears. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you've learned nothing. You're still the same person. You're judgmental, you're controlling, and you think you are the one who should be allowed to lie whenever you feel it necessary and not have to be held responsible for it.
Right. And when she was talking about how they were fighting, he was actively trying to shush her.
We
like,
love that. We love it.
You're making yourself look so much worse. And then when he was talking about the clothing and whatever, Adnan pipes up and he says whatever. And Sean pipes up with a redirect. I think this is the first and only redirect we have ever had Sean perform. In the tell-all, and it was a redirect into more sex talk.
Why?
I don't know. I don't want to hear anything about this guy's sex life in any capacity. I don't care about anyone's sex life. We talked about this before. It's just so completely and utterly inappropriate. I don't want to listen to it. And I'm so sick of Brian and his shitty personality. And yeah, I was trying to narrow it down, but everything. And it's just a pity party for poor Brian here. He's so disgusting.
He says he's living his best life and he's not lying anymore. To which Ingrid raises her eyebrows, and I did as well.
Yeah.
So, and for you, Brian.
He asked the new girlfriend, are you going to be wife number 5? And she said yes. And people online were like, call Interpol, alert them that he's a sex tourist and he's harassing these women and he should just be banned
from everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just wasn't sure what he should be banned from.
No, the banning is coming from my mind, and you know how quickly my brain's working today. So it's just he just should be banned.
Okay. All right.
Maybe he should just, never get married again. And even his kid said that he should probably take a break from it, and he's like, no, I won't be doing that. Why? Because he likes the control. He likes the power. He likes the attention.
Why would he think that it's going to work this time after so many attempted marriages and engagements? Why doesn't he just go see a therapist, for crying out loud?
Because there's nothing wrong with him.
Oh,
it's like the tale as old as time in the 90 Day Fiancé realm. Nothing wrong with him.
No.
But at what point, like, it's the same story. Like, if everyone in the room is an asshole, maybe you should look at yourself. If all of these relationships haven't worked out, why don't you work on yourself? But no, he's done all the work, which is absolutely nothing.
And he's totally happy with his life, and he's living the best life that he could possibly have. So
because
he could
die tomorrow.
Yes, the pity party was fantastic. I thought that was really well timed.
Isn't that great?
We could all die at any time, Brian.
We all
Hello. We have daily reminders, all of us,
and
at any time.
And that doesn't mean that we all become lying pieces of shit that manipulate and control people just to get what we want. Because, we could die tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We don't all go around asking for a pity party and for people to make excuses for us because we could get hit by a bus the moment we walk out the door. This whole thing about, just feel sorry for me because I could die at any second from an embolism. Manipulation. That's all it was.
He's so gross. Like, I don't even have a word in my vocabulary that is strong enough to describe how despicable this human being is.
And remember when we first met him at the beginning of the season, way, way back, weeks and weeks ago, and we thought, oh, fantastic. They've got somebody in a wheelchair. This is great. Bit of diversity, different perspective. We haven't seen this on 90 Day yet. I wonder what it's going to be like. He seems really cool. He was talking to his Uber passengers as he was driving them around, and we saw how able he is to deal with his daily life on his own. And we were like really impressed, weren't we? And it all went downhill from there rapidly.
He got a good edit, because I do believe in the first episode when we met him, I said he was very charismatic. And now we just see that he's a piece of shit. I'm sorry, that's like the the lowest form of insult that I could possibly give him, but I can't think of any.
Well, I mean, to be a liar is bad enough. To be a manipulative liar is a whole other level. But to be somebody who deliberately deceives based on your disability, I think is pretty heinous.
Mm-hmm.
And we did learn that about him partway through the season. At some point, we found out that one of the ways that he earns money is by suing places that don't have accessible ramps or whatever it is in order to use their business, which is valid. But you and I both noted that he takes the proceeds from those cases, which obviously he wins. If they don't have the right equipment, then they don't have the right equipment, and they should.
Mm-hmm.
He takes that money and uses it for himself. He profits from it.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn around and then give that money to an organization that is working towards making more accessible buildings or doing something along the lines of, like, you would think he was doing it for altruistic reasons, but he's not. It's just greed.
It's all for personal gain, which is even worse because, like, obviously he's not the only person in a wheelchair in the entire world. So this isn't just for his own accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other people that could benefit from it. But instead, you're taking money from the pockets of these companies who may or may not have the money to actually build these ramps and accessible doorways and bathrooms. You're just taking that money for yourself, as opposed to, you know, having a clause in your settlement that says, sure, I was awarded this money, but I want this money to go towards you upgrading your building to be more accessible.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I need another trip to Brazil to look for wife number 789.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think we're getting angry enough. Shall we move on to Magda and Joe?
This was so hard to watch.
What was hard to understand was why none of Joe's friends would come onto the show. Why?
I had to rewind that because whoa. What do you mean none of his friends? We saw him at that pool party. There were ample people there. None of them would come. I'm kind of surprised that they couldn't convince Jill, and now Sam will get into that, but couldn't convince Jill to come on.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, or because Sean said that a couple of them were interested and then said that they weren't. So I wonder if he just told all of his friends, don't do it. Don't put me in that situation. Don't do it.
But
maybe
whether
or not they showed up, it doesn't matter because he did not get away unscathed.
So how this all came about was that Magda let it slip that she really doesn't feel like his friends are hiding anything sinister from her. Okay, so that's one thing. But then Sean starts digging into this, and we get a video clip of before he went to Poland when his friends were all together at that pool party, and his friend Stephanie admits that she and Joey hooked up. So not just the one friend that he had been hiding from Magda for quite some time, even though she specifically asked him to please tell him anything that was in his closet in terms of skeletons, and he said no, there's nothing there, and then he had to let it out later that he had been with Jill. So this makes it even worse.
And he just his hemming and hawing was so uncomfortable because Magda did give him the opportunity. She said,
more than once.
Anyone else? Or anyone else? And I saw the hesitance in his face at that time, and I was just waiting for the fallout. But that unseen clip that they aired, his friends dogged him so bad. But I don't think that they could have anticipated that this is what the result would have been.
No. It was hilarious to watch almost all of the cast members, I think at least 3 or 4 of them, go at Joe, trying to get him to tell the truth. Just say it, Joe. Just say it. And he was lips tightly closed. No, I'm not going to let it out. I'm not going to say my secret. I've got to stick to my guns and keep on lying about this. But when Magda asks for details about what this hookup was all about, and at first he says it was just kissing, it's obvious. It's so clear to everybody that he is lying.
That's the foot in the door right there. It was just kissing.
No, it wasn't.
No.
nope, 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 nope. Don't believe you for a second. And he brushes it off. Oh, it was so long ago.
He doesn't even think about it.
It's not relevant. It's not relevant to him. Okay, but it's relevant to your girlfriend / almost fiance,
who has made it very clear to you that this is an issue for her.
Mm-hmm.
And now you lie about it again.
Yeah.
And the fact that even Loren was like, come on, man. We all know if Lauren's calling you out on this. Oh, geez.
That is a very good point. Loren was so helpful and so instructive. He makes a very, very great suggestion, I thought. He says, Joey, why don't you just make a list of everybody that you slept with so that Magda has all of this information at her fingertips, just as Loren, did for Faith. What a great idea. That would be much, much better to have this full body count list, descriptive account of his entire sexual history in glorious detail for Magda to pore over.
It's going to make her feel so much better.
It is. Absolutely. And given what his friends were saying about Joe in terms of his body count, this
hate that
list,
word, by the way.
I know, I hate it too, but this list would probably be quite significant.
And how much do you want to bet that it's not going to be exhaustive? He's not going to remember every single person that he's ever slept with. That idea in and of itself would be setting him up for even more failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's obviously quite rich coming from Loren. Don't believe that his list was exhaustive either.
Oh my God.
Especially being a transient.
Can you imagine? Loren has a list with like different columns for this activity, for this orifice of the body, during this time of my life, or with this STI as a consequence. Yeah. But back to Joe. Yeah, the list would be awful. It would probably be long. I find it difficult to believe, but okay, whatever. They say he's got some prowess when it comes to reeling in women, so I take them at their word. But why would this help Magda? Why would it make you feel better? And like you said, there would probably be people who were left off the list because he was too drunk to remember, or it was so long ago, whatever.
It didn't matter.
Not relevant. Yeah, okay. Well, he finally admits the truth under all of this intense scrutiny from all of the cast members and the direct question from Sean. And I don't know. How many times did Magda ask him flat out if he had friends?
Anyone else?
If he had friends that he had been involved with romantically, how many times did she give him the chance to tell the truth and just say? And he hedged and hid and lied. And now he's in such a big mess.
He made it so much worse for himself. The dead silence between his responses and between the incessant encouragement from everyone else it spoke volumes. We don't even need your answer at this point.
We certainly don't need your excuses. The excuses were horrific. Not just the relevant thing, but also saying, oh, well, it never comes up. It's not like it comes up. It did come up several times. Selective memory? Does he have early Alzheimer's? What's going on?
I can't even make a joke about defending him.
No.
The fact that he has completely ruined my ability to make a joke about that.
Yeah. Magda's so hurt. She's really, really hurt by this. I mean, they cut off the filming for the main show at this point, and then they follow Joe as he's going off stage, and he calls Magda. He's so clearly embarrassed by all of this. He wants to just hightail it and get out of there as quickly as he possibly can, so he kind of scurries away like a rat into the night.
GTFO.
Yeah. And Loren's assessment of the situation was quite hilarious. He says, he's being a little bitch. He deflected and lied. You think, how ironic for Loren to point this out to us.
It's even more embarrassing for Joey.
Loren is the poster boy for lying and deflecting, and yet he's calling Joe out on it. Nice.
Embarrassing.
Anyway, we see the various cast members leave the stage, if you're okay to talk about that now. Vea and Sunny, they're still on different pages. which is hilarious. She's still saying, I'm not going to convert. And he's talking about having babies with her. These two they don't know where each other is, what each other's thinking. It's not going to end well. Vanya is giving hugs to everybody, being her usual bubbly self. And she's so optimistic. She has a great outlook. She says she's got closure and she feels better. So great. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm so happy that was her conclusion, because obviously she was very upset during her segments.
Yeah.
And I adored how positive she was. And I'm glad that she got what she needed to be able to move on, and that she hasn't lost hope, because she does deserve the best. She does deserve to be loved. And I really hope that she finds it.
Adnan, he has no problems whatsoever. Of course not. Everything that is a problem in his life is somebody else's problem.
Even if it's Tiger Lily's, it's not his.
I just wanted to mention here a quick little side note about Adnan and Tiger Lily. You and I have talked about this together, just off podcast, that Tiger Lily was posting on her social media how if Niles had been respectful to Adnan, if he had answered positively to that question that Adnan kept asking over and over again in the first episode, do you respect my relationship? Do you respect my family? That they would have paid for him to go to Ghana to visit Matilda so that he could continue saving for her visa. That was such bullshit. And that was so cruel because, first of all, I don't believe it's true. I don't believe that they were doing that with the intent of giving Niles the money. But then to say, well, we would have done that, but because of his attitude, because of the way he treated us, we decided not to. When in fact, it was your husband, Tiger Lily, it was Adnan who was so incredibly cruel and disrespectful to Niles. And that's what provoked him into not being nice to you. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I just thought that was so petty and small and cruel and hurtful of her to do that on social media.
I think she actually said that they were planning on giving him the $4,000 to get her over there.
Yeah, there was a mention.
Even worse.
Right. There was a mention of the $4,000, but then the post that I most recently saw just this past week was of her talking about providing Niles with the money that he needed to go visit Matilda so that he didn't have to use from the budget that he'd been amassing to pay for her visa. Either way, disgusting behavior. And on the subject of Niles, he's leaving saying, I'm learning every day, I'm growing, and I'm continuing to expand myself. Amazing. What an incredible guy. I just say, keep going, keep growing, go for it, Niles.
Good for him. I could deal without the whole squishy thing ever again, though.
I could too. Yeah, that's a little bit much for me. Yep. Faith, for her part, she says she's okay with being single. Great. And Loren says he's still going to try to make things work with her, probably despite her wanting to be broken up with him. All right. And then all of a sudden, Brian, this was just icing on the cake. Brian is suspicious of Ingrid and her two baby daddies. Say what now? Sour grapes. He's trying to make her seem bad in order to make himself feel better. This is textbook.
He's just so awful. And even when, pun intended, but also legit, the way that he rolled in and he said that he was ready to take her down or whatever it was, his sole purpose of being at the tell-all was to try to make himself look good and to drag her through the mud. And he took that till the very bloody end. As he's literally leaving the studio, he's still trying to shit on her.
And like, you know what? It all backfired. It backfired so perfectly.
Loved it.
That was the end. Do you have anything extraneous?
Yes, I do.
Please reveal.
So I was thinking about the whole blow up with Joey and, the amount of time that they spent on trying to get that information out of him. It was so irritating. And then I was thinking, what's going to happen for them afterwards? So I have a prediction.
Okay, go.
Magda's going to stay with them because she wants that green card.
Why would she want to leave beautiful Poland?
Now that we know that it's beautiful, I had no idea that Poland was that beautiful. We've talked about this before. It looked absolutely gorgeous, but she wants to get married. She wants to move to the States and she wants to have babies immediately.
So no matter what he does, he can actually do no wrong because she'll always forgive him because she has her own motivations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yep.
I can also see her getting totally fed up with him and saying, screw this, and then moving on to the next one because she is still, 23. She's very young.
Super, super young, but also very not intelligent.
Okay.
But I can see her staying. Will she?
I don't know. I'm of two minds. I could go either way with what I'm thinking for her. And yes, she has been very forgiving of Joey's transgressions throughout the season, but at certain point, you've got to have a limit, right? And it seems like he's getting closer and closer to that limit. Maybe.
But we've seen before with this couple specifically that they both keep pushing the goalpost.
Yeah.
Remember with the engagement was, not until you come to the States or, not until whatever. They just keep pushing it and pushing it, especially with, them being intimate together. And then, neither of them have been able to hold their own boundaries and maintain their expectations. So I think that just adds more credence to the fact that they're not going to break up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, time will tell. Any other predictions?
I don't have a prediction, but I have spoiler.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Other predictions. Brian and Ingrid are done. Faith and Loren are done. Tiger Lily and Adnan,
they're fine.
They'll be fine. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them again, and the next time he's going to be telling her that she's too old and he needs more babies, so he needs to get another wife. And then who am I missing?
Niles, Matilda.
Niles and Matilda are going to flourish together. They're going to have many babies, and they're going to be the cutest little things in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
I want nothing but the best for them. And Sunny and Vea, no, it's not gonna work.
It's just
no. I think the biggest caveat is the whole religion thing and him thinking that it's going to work and her just saying absolutely not, and it just
won't go
does
in.
not compute. No.
Mm. Well, next time we are starting season 11 of 90 Day Fiancé, the OG series. Starts on February the 16th in 2 weeks' time. So we have to wait to discuss our next show, but I think there's going to be some good people on this. We've got quite a few new couples. We have Sean and Aaliyah returning, as well as Shekinah and Sarper. And I think the approach that I'm going to take to Shekinah and Sarper is if something interesting happens, which it probably won't, we will discuss it, or I will discuss it, whatever you like.
But I volunteered to watch it and you didn't have to. So
yes.
We can discuss that later.
I found him so interesting on the tell-all for their season. He was great. And I wish that he would just be that Sarper rather than the stupid Sarper that he's normally been on the shows.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Any last notes?
I'm really looking forward to the next season. Oh, and because the next season doesn't start until
February 16th.
That means we will not have a show next Monday. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
I am very glad that this season is over. It had its moments of being entertaining. And I'm glad it's over. Do you have any final comments?
I'm also glad it's over. I think we got some really great new people on the show this year. It's unfortunate that Brian turned out to be such a bastard. It's unfortunate that Loren turned out to be such a loser. However, we've been entertained, and I think that we did get our one true couple this year, which was Matilda and Niles.
Mm-hmm.
Always essential to have at least one true couple. I hope they maintain that in the next season.
It's really nice to have a couple to
root for.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going for. So hopefully we'll have at least one for the next season, if not more. But we saw how I was completely wrong at the very beginning of this one. See how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. And before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. And if you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you in 2 weeks.